it's been because of our leadership team on our manufacturing floor. It's been nothing that I've done, but it's been leaders listening to people, caring about them, showing them that there's a different way to manage and grow people. And it's been so fun to be a part of and to really see their growth and to see what they're capable of, because I'm not sure I'd have thought that a couple of years ago.
Welcome to Encouraging Leaders, a podcast that exists to remind CEOs and aspiring CEOs that you do not have to lead alone. Today, I have a special guest with me, Cory Jensen. He's with Continental Manufacturing Chemist up in Iowa. He is the president. He's been brought in to lead the organization only for the last couple of years. And I have gotten to be witness to his leadership, the changes that he's made, the way he's built teamwork into the organization. And I actually know a lot of the people there. And so it is so cool to see what has been built and the progress that they've made as a team. I'm excited about the conversation. Cory, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Excited and very nervous all at the same time.
It's a favorite word of mine. I've got a friend who coined it. It's called skited, a little scared and a little excited. They're really close to each other in the brain.
That would very much describe this. So thanks for having me on.
It's been delightful to be in your life over the last couple of years and watching you lead and grow. Tell me, I do ask the same question each time we start this podcast, and I know you've heard it a couple of times, but what is a time in your life that you learned that you didn't have to lead all alone, that you could actually have people surrounding you and have help and support?
Yeah, I knew you were going to open with that question, and I thought a lot about it as I've listened to the podcast after you said, hey, you want to come do this? And for me, I can't really say that there's ever a time that I didn't feel that way. I grew up playing team sports and very competitive things along the line, whether it was card games or I sound like a great big nerd, but World of Warcraft. And I've always realized that in the things I've done in my life, you had to do it with a team. And so there was never a moment where I thought you could do it any other way. And so I know that's a little bit unique, but.
Well, no, I think it's awesome. I mean, sports is a place where people get to really hone that in, and group sports is a place. And so you learned it there. Do you remember any coaches in your life back then, or anybody that modeled that and said, teamwork is actually where it's at? Anybody that showed that to you?
I've had a ton of great coaches in my life. I go back to a lot of my soccer coaches, but I've always had friends around me that have been older. And I have a ton of friends who have modeled leadership, and just getting to see them and the things they've done in their lives have been pretty cool. I can give you a couple teachers that have really modeled leadership, high school teachers, also a chess coach that his name was Drew Thyden at Omaha Central. He was a great role model for me. And ironically enough, I reached out to him probably 2 months ago. I was like, hey, let's have lunch. And he was like, this is weird, but yeah, I'd love to. And we just sat and chatted for a couple hours, and it was cool to catch up with him and see kind of what he's doing in his life now.
What did he do such a great job of back then in leadership and teaching?
He saw something in me that I'd never seen in myself. He saw what I was capable of and really pushed me to be the best I could be, whether it was through playing chess is where I got to know him, but also really through, he taught an IT class that it was like, hey, you need to, your stuff. Quit sitting in the back and acting like you don't know what's going on. Really kind of forced me to stick out in a crowd when I'd spent my whole life trying to not to just be somebody to just get through. So that was pretty cool to see that.
I love that call out. So as a leader, he saw in you something you couldn't see in yourself, and he didn't do it. You said forced, challenged, invited, encouraged, whatever word it was, you felt compelled to do it. And how long ago was that you had him as a teacher?
Over 20 years ago, almost 25 at this point.
I just love that you called him. The connections that sometimes teachers and coaches don't get to see the impact that they have on humans. And for you to have that much impact in your life because he saw what others didn't see or you didn't see yourself, and he called you to it. He said, hey, listen, it's time. Come out and go. And he didn't let you sit by and idly not use it. He challenged you. And then you got to go have lunch with him and celebrate him. That's really cool. I have many of those in my life, and it's just fun to watch, like, oh my goodness. And then I want them to know. And so I'm so glad that you made the call and reach out. So let's turn back to business. I have been watching the last 2 years. Your team has done some amazing things. I got to watch a video about an award you were honored with. The team was honored with a productivity award by one of your vendors. They shared a couple things that I want to just throw out, and then I want you to tell me about the experience. So they said you had gone from a 300% turnover to low turnover relative to manufacturers. So a significant drop, a 39% increase in productivity over a short period of time. They were talking about 90 days. It sounded like black and white, like boom, that the team had moved a long way from where they were going or where they were before. Tell me about that experience. What's led to that?
Yeah, we had a really fun experience with Red Zone, and I think I love the iceberg analogy and that there's all this work that went in, but it kind of all came together with launching some of the software that really helped us communicate and better talk with our floor. So the numbers are kind of interesting when you listen to them. We went from 7 temp agencies. Half of our employees were temps. We had 300% turnover rate. That's not even including our temp turnover rate, to no temporary employees. Everybody that works for us as an employee has an opportunity to take benefits, can provide for their family, to where we're at sub 25% turnover for the year. Three-quarters of our people, or three-quarters of the positions we filled this year have been internal promotions. We no longer recruit or pay to recruit. Almost all of our hourly positions have been internal referrals. We had an open house like 4 months ago, and we thought, oh, this will be fun. We'll get 10 people. 20 minutes before we were supposed to start, there was 30 people lined up outside, and we were like, oh, this is different. And it's been because of our leadership team on our manufacturing floor. It's been nothing that I've done, but it's been leaders listening to people, caring about them, showing them that there's a different way to manage and grow people. And it's been so fun to be a part of and to really see their growth and to see what they're capable of, because I'm not sure I'd have thought that a couple of years ago when I started.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, the number of manufacturers who are listening, who are trying to attract talent. Talent is your number one challenge, and when you're moving from going out and hiring with all kinds of incentives and trying to do temporary labor, it's just really hard to manage. And to move to where you have an open house and 3 times the people show up than you had expected because people want to work there. That sounds like a huge attractive culture. And I think about, what are some of the daily habits? I do like how you acknowledge that the software is kind of like the tip of the iceberg. I was there when you guys were working, when those managers were working on the floor and working to get people out and draw them out and to help them understand the connective tissue between growth and how they could feel that from them. Tell me about some of your daily rhythms and habits that you guys have operationally put in place to help them know that you care.
Yeah. I'd say the most important thing we do is we have our 8 a.m. daily meeting, and it's essentially an open forum, open door meeting. It started with like 6 of us, and I think there's 30 people in there every day now. It's got a pretty prescribed list of things we talk about. We go through some metrics so that we can talk about how the business is performing. We've got kind of targets, and when they go over them, we do actions. So we have action cycles where it's like, hey, this is a problem. What are we going to do? And who owns it? I think that's the most important thing we do every day is we hold our 8 a.m. meeting. You can call it daily vital signs. You can call it whatever you want, but it's there as a way to make sure that nothing falls between the cracks. If there's a problem, it's a forum. It's a place to address it. One of the other really cool things I think that we've done, Uriah, who's our HR and kind of admin leader, created kind of our recognition system, and everybody on the back of their badge has 2 QR codes they can scan, one to report a near miss, so if there's a safety incident, and one to recognize a fellow employee for something they've done that aligns with our core values. And so every day when we get those, we'll go through and read them off. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's really been a great way to reinforce, like, these are our core values and we're going to live by them. We're going to recognize when people do things that fit into them. And I don't know, I think it's probably the favorite part of everything I get to do is either listening or reading through the core values and seeing them come in, and really seeing the ones that I like reading are when somebody's nominating somebody that's a peer. Like, it's always easy for a supervisor to nominate somebody that works for them. Like that's kind of an expectation. But when you get somebody that nominates the person that's working beside them that's a peer and says, hey, I really appreciated when they did this. And it showed great commitment when Hector did something. Like, that to me is just like that stuff that you just don't see anymore. And I think it's really, really important. I think it's really fun for the team to get those. And we take those and we post them in the hallway by our time clock. So when people come in, we started with one board and we filled it up really quick. And I was like, oh, go buy another board, guys. Like, it's a good problem to have. Yeah, we'll find more boards. So
Let me just share what I heard. You have a daily rhythm that everyone meets, and it's a place where you can reinforce the values alignment. So you can coach to those, you can have peer-to-peer coaching to those, celebrations to those. They can call people out for doing good things. You can address any issues, and it's been a strong habit that did not exist whenever I was there 2.5 years ago. It did not exist at that point in time, and so that's a new rhythm for you.
it's
And you
a
feel
new
like it's
rhythm, and it's one that it's vitally important for us. It's one that, once again, it's something I think all businesses should have. It's kind of a key staple of the red zone. It's one of those things, like you talk about software. Well, the software doesn't actually do anything in the meetings, but it's teaching the daily cadence of how a plant should run, and along with kind of the ability for people to put in their core values and recognizing when people do them. We have a great culture of groups sending out high fives or positive chats with our software, and it's everybody from our supervisors, our VP of operations, our quality director. Like, everybody has the chance to recognize when people are having a great day. And I think it's so easy to find all the negatives to talk about, and I think we've really done a good job of finding positives. And I think the more you talk about stuff, the more you see it, and finding positives is big for us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been so cool to be beside you on that journey. It was about a year and 3 months ago, 4 months ago, where you set a goal. One of your leadership development goals that you had communicated to me, and you also communicated to the team, was that you wanted to do a better job of coaching and developing around the values of the organization. And I think about that. And now what you're describing, this is what I love about leadership. What you're describing is everyone now in the organization is coaching and developing on values because they're celebrating when they see wins, when they are doing it good. And they're able to know by those celebrations and the daily rituals that they can reinforce the values even when you're not present.
Yeah,
Can
it's
you
kind
feel
of
that?
it's fun to look back at this and think, at a certain point, we didn't even really define what our core values were. And at that point, I had a long-term employee tell us, hey, don't write something on the wall that we're not going to live by. Like, we've written different things on the wall and we never lived by them. And I really took that to heart, and we actually slowed down on our process of developing core values until we put in a team that we thought, yeah, they're going to be consistent. We're all going to have the same values. So it's been interesting to see the evolution of what you can get when you just focus on building a team, building structure, and then building the values and everybody living by them and everybody knowing what they are. When we were developing our values, I think the first day we did it, we ended up with like 10 different words on the sheet, or I think we ended up with 7 different words on the sheet of paper. And I was like, guys, I'm not smart enough to remember 7 values. Like, we need to get this to the point that we can write it on a single piece of paper. And the team did a great job of coming back, and we worked together a whole second day offsite, and we were like, we're going to simplify this to 3 C's. And we got it, and we put it on the wall, and I think we live by it every day. And that to
Tell
me
me
is
about the three
important.
C's. What are they now? What did they get down to?
Yeah. Yeah. So character. And once again, no particular order. We kind of look at this as a stool. Without one of them, the others fall apart. So character, doing what you're right, being transparent. One of the other ones that we had up there for a long time was integrity. And I was like, guys, you can't run a business without integrity. Like, that can't be a core value. Everybody should have it. So we wrapped it into the character of kind of do what you say. Collaboration, which has been fun to see us build. I will tell you, when we wrote it on the board, I was like, I don't think it's there yet. And they're like, it's not. And that's why we got to work on it. And seeing a sales team be built, seeing an operations team be assembled from the ground up, and those two teams working together and then building a quality team, it's definitely been hard. But the collaboration and being transparent. And I think the other part of it's been really fun to see is the collaboration with our partners, whether it's our vendors, our customers. It's kind of taken it to a new level where we're very open with everything that's happening in the business. When we had a saying, and bad news has to travel fast. And I think that's a big part of collaboration is sometimes bad things happen in manufacturing, and you got to get a group together to address them. And to me, that's been fun to see us collaborating better, quality inputs on what's happening on the production floor, production inputs from our engineers and various other parts of our business, our warehouse, really talking and working collaboratively with our quality team to make sure, hey, as soon as stuff's released, it gets out the door. Like, we have more stuff than we've ever had because we're running more. And it's like, okay, we got to work together. We're not going to solve this. And then the third one's commitment. I look at commitment and grit kind of very similarly. I think if I'd had my way, we'd have probably gone with grit, but the rest of the team didn't like it. I'm like, I'm going to listen to you guys. 3 C's works well for us. And it's really just, if we say we're going to do something, we're going to do it. When we commit to deadlines and we commit to our customers and they take a PO, like, the expectation is if we take a PO and it says it's going to deliver 7/1, we're going to deliver it by 7/1. And that sounds really simple and really easy. In our business, it's what's expected. And for our customers, it's what we have to deliver. To me, that also works internally. Like, hey, if you're scheduled, you need to show up. And if you don't, you need to let us know and you need to plan in advance, because we're committed to building a team of people that are going to work hard and work together. And we want that commitment internally as well. And so, I don't know, it's been really fun to define who we wanted to be and then live by it. And it was actually interesting in working through the process. We realized we had some people that didn't fit our core values, and it was hard, but some of them chose to leave and some of them we chose to leave as we realized where we wanted to go and what we were going to be. And it was just interesting to see the evolution of really defining it and what it allowed us to do. And when we said, here's who we're going to be, and there's no give on these three. Like, you have to live by them.
Yeah, your willingness to hold yourself and then the organization to continuing to live by the values that you write down is so critical. I see. So, I love the part of your story that says that the employees say, please don't write anything down that you're not actually going to do, because we've done that before. And that's real. It's just, it happens. If when we say, I want to be this, but then we don't commit to being that, it's, there's just a disconnect, and it slows down growth. It slows down trust. It slows down partnering. Talk to me about how that all feels to me like I've witnessed operational excellence at scale, where you have built just solid trust systems in on-time deliveries, high quality, everything. We're basically building out the operations side of the business. And I know that that's actually where you came from. You came from the operations side of the business. And so you have the president's hat on, which you're in charge of the full P&L and the growth. Talk to me about the sales side and how those values have translated into the sales side of the business.
Yeah. So sales is somewhere I didn't feel comfortable in a year ago. Done it. I understood it. But I always thought sales was kind of more pushy. Like, hey, you got to go sell. You got to go get a PO. You got to come home. And really spending a lot of time in it the last 6 months in particular, I realized sales is like actually way less pushy than operations. Sales is, to me now, so much more about relationships and building trust, at least in the industry that we play in, where I think really all our customers want is a product delivered at the price that they understand, when they understand it, at the quality level they want. Like, they're not asking for miracles. They're asking for somebody that is consistently going to deliver what they commit to. And then somebody is going to go, and we're going to come back to a core value word here, going to collaborate with them and work together to figure out, how do we do this in a way that we can both make a little bit more money? And I think what's made it really unique for us is we've actually opened up a lot of our pricing and been transparent. And in an industry that's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, where people hide their pricing behind a bunch of different things, it's just so much more, like, it's easier for me to say, hey, here's our pricing. And we expect that we're going to make money and we're going to make a reasonable amount, but we're not going to try and gouge you. We're not going to hide behind it. And if prices go up, we're going to pass them on. And if prices go down, they're going to go down. And if we find a way that we can do something more efficiently, or we come back with suggestions, we'll share the savings with you. It's been interesting to see the sales side transform, and customers are coming to us now and saying, hey, here's some other stuff that we want, versus us going out and having to constantly feel like we're hounding people and trying to do that. It's been fun and entertaining.
Well, I have, I mean, I love the way you're talking about it. And I, it so resonates with how I like to buy. I like to make partnerships with people. And then I don't like to select vendors often. I don't like to switch vendors. I like
Mm-hmm.
to have partners, and then we're working together. And, you've named transparency across all of the places in employee relations. Transparency is there so that whenever bad news happens, it moves fast so we can actually handle it, and we can be partners in handling it together. And that translates to clients. And when I've watched you did shift goals at the beginning of this year because you were on track, your operations were going well, and your profitability was going well. Team is solid, and you're saying, how do we fill the pipeline for the next 3 years of growth? Because you have some aggressive growth plans. And so you actually stepped into the sales process and helped build some of those processes and the relationships. And what's that felt like for you? What's been the key learning for you?
Yeah, I will tell you, it wasn't easy. I feel very comfortable in manufacturing. I feel super comfortable on a manufacturing floor, especially in a space I've got a lot of experience. I will tell you, it was hard for me because when things didn't go my way, it was very easy to revert and go back to the floor. Even though I had a team that I fully trust there, I don't have to show up to the plant every day to make sure it's running. I can see it's running through our technology piece, which is cool, but I don't look at it a tenth as much as I used to. So stepping into the sales role was really hard at first, and um, it's hard to pick up a phone and say we've made mistakes in the past, and we want to earn your trust and your business back. Two people who have probably shown us more loyalty than we showed them. I'm super proud of where our business is, and that we hear comments from our customers that come in to say, hey, like, your people are the most engaged I've ever seen people. They're proud to talk about what they do and where they're coming from and what the next projects are. And to me, that's been the most fun part of selling, is actually not the selling. It's getting people to our plant to see how different it looks and like what our culture and what our people feel like. That's the easy part to selling now. Is I realize that I just have to get people to come see us, and once they're there, it's easy. The hard part's done. Just come see our facilities and come see our team and like listen to what we're doing. So I don't know. I didn't really answer that very clearly, but
No, you did. I mean, basically it's learning what you're doing. I'm just watching it, and you're learning and growing as a leader, and then also as an organization. And so the idea that bringing people into the plant and showing your people and your processes, the way you build quality into everything, the way that they have pride in their manufacturing, the fact that you are building in America and you have solid systems to be able to deliver on time. And it's not because you say you do, it's because your people say you do. That will sell over and over and over again. And so it starts with you being willing to be transparent and open and be able to open up areas for people to share real things that are challenges. But then that has built an attractive culture. And now you've got 40 people lining up instead of 10 people. And you've got no temp agencies, and you've got people who are growing. And when you have that, clients can come in and you can build solid long-term partnerships with them. Tell the audience what business you're actually in so that they can get a hold of you if they need this service.
yeah. So it's a cool story. So our mission is the premier contract manufacturer of animal and oral care in the country. I'm going to say in the world right now. So if you got oral care product, mouthwash, toothpaste, if you got stuff for your fur babies, whether it's shampoos, conditioners, I think we're the biggest manufacturer of stuff for the livestock shows. So kids doing their 4-H, their FFA, that's kind of where the business started. If you want to make something in those spaces, come see me. We're venturing into the personal care space, and we love it. We feel like it sits directly with what we do. So shampoos, conditioners, body washes. We'd love to talk to you and make sure it's a fit on both sides.
So cool. Yeah. And I think about that contract manufacturing space. Normally, normal is hiding and basically protecting and defending. And what you're doing is opening, and you're letting your people talk, and you're showing, and your capabilities are growing. And now clients would be crazy not to come over and see what you're building so that they can actually have a reliable source of a partner that can be in
Yeah.
business with them, because those brands need that.
One of the other kind of big things that's been on our kind of 3-year initiatives we laid out is we want to open up our facility to the community and other people in the space. So if you're in some type of manufacturing, I'd love to do plant share tours. It's something we've had great success with. Somebody comes and visits us, and typically we learn more when they come and visit us than they do. And then we go and visit somebody else and share feedback with them. But also, I think you learn stuff when you go see. So even if you're not in the space, that's really where we're competing, or you're not a potential customer, I'd still love to hear from you. Opening up our doors has been a big thing for us, and it's been really fun, and we've learned a lot. And it's scary when you do it at first, but now we love it, and now we feel very comfortable. Like, you got to be show ready every day, which is a new thing for us.
It's so cool. Well, I want to highlight, I have a dear friend, Stuart Miller, who's here in St. Louis with me, who's actually the owner, second generation owner and CEO of the organization. I want to share with you what I've seen him do. And then I want to just reflect how cool it's been to watch you step up into the role. So first of all, he was willing, he set a vision for the business. He wanted it to be a growth-based business, run well, people taken care of well. He wanted that as an owner. And he could see that it's going to need a team of people to do that well. And so he said, I want someone who's talented, gifted, capable enough to lead that. And you were actually brought into the organization to do that role. And from what I can tell from the outside looking in, you have done that incredibly well. You can be extremely proud of the role that you've served. The main thing that I saw, I want to go back to the first part of the podcast. I got to watch a video of the award ceremony, and you weren't actually on the stage. Your team was. You had built a team that could gain an award at a national stage, and you let them take the award because they're the ones who earned it.
Absolutely.
And so what's so cool about that story is Stuart is letting you win the award, and you're letting them win the award. And that's what leadership looks like at the highest level. So proud of knowing you and knowing Stuart, and watching the team there build and grow. You can be extremely proud of what you built.
Yeah, I'm definitely proud, and we're definitely not done. That's the fun part, is we've got one piece of the puzzle, but we still got a lot of things that we're excited about in the future, and we're ready to share it with the world. Yeah.
Well, if there was one thing, I'll just finish with, if there was one thing you could go back and tell the younger you as you step into leadership, one thing that you would love for them to know, wish you had known then, you know now deeply.
Yeah, I thought about this one a lot too, and it's one that my VP asked during a lot of interviews, and you get some really interesting answers when you ask this. For me, I think the thing that I've learned in the last 2 years is you have to hire people because they fit you culturally. You can hire really talented people, but you won't get the results if they don't fit the vision of what you want to be as an organization culturally. And there's a ton of different books on it. It just took me a long time to realize that culture has to come first. I think I've learned that, but I still, every day, it's like you have to reinforce it, that
Yeah.
you have to do
It's
the
a lesson
cultural
you can
piece.
relearn over and over and
Yeah.
over. It's the reason we bring these back up is because we have to learn them ourselves. We teach so that we can learn, we coach so that we can understand. And so you're doing that for me. If you're listening today, and you're hiring people, Cory would love for you to know, hire for culture, hire for values, hire for fit, and then you can do anything. And if you hire only for giftedness or talent or the background, the technical side, you can have a brilliant person and not accomplish what you need to go out and accomplish. And so I think every leader listening needs that. I know I need the reinforcement. And if you're listening, thank you so much for listening. And Cory, thank you so much for taking the time and spending it with our group.
Yeah, this was very fun. Nerves have gone down as from when we started till now. So
That's good. It's always a good sign. Calm and steady, and go out and lead. Enjoy this week.
yep, appreciate it.